Sorry, I didn't hear you, John.
All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get rock and roll. Welcome to our weekly More Momentum. And that's what we really mean. We're trying to keep you guys with momentous. How about that? That's the word of the day, because a lot of us get training, we get ideas, we get inspiration, and then we get stuck in our day-to-day work and we get busy and we don't get better and we don't know what's going on. And also, you don't need to be doing this all alone. This is a tough market right now, and you don't want to do it on your own. It's too hard to do it on your own. So that's why we have the Momentum Builder community. So if you haven't already download the Momentum Builder app. We're up to almost 800 now in less than 6 months. And we're creating one of the best communities with the best resources and the best speakers and coaches and tools there is. There it is. Thank you, Sonia. Sonia is always making us look good. And so there it is.
And that's sometimes a very hard task.
What's that?
Sometimes that's a hard task.
Right. Poor Sonia. Poor Sonia. She's had to deal with us for years and years and years, and we love her for it. So welcome to today's show. And as always, we reach out to bring you not always the same. We hear from, let's just call it the Fab Dozen all the time because they're rock stars. But it's nice to get fresh alternatives and fresh approaches and new ideas and fresh faces that are making it work in today's market, because what you did in 2020 or 2021 or 2007 doesn't matter right now at all. None. Sorry, it really doesn't. It's a unique market, one of the most unique I've seen in my 3+ decades. Got some history here, and you guys of course know my business partner who's back, Mr. Gino Fronti. And today we have Miss Christy Solar. Is it Solar or Soleil? Can we say Soleil?
You can call me whatever you want, Don, but it's Solar. Christy Solar.
Solar. So I was fortunate to be introduced to Christy just recently because she's on the board of ambassadors for a unique tool that you will see soon enough that's going to change some lives, because it's going to help us all with our sales accountability, and we all need that. So it was really nice getting to know Christy through this call, because Christy has a unique story, and it's a real story, and it's a story you need to hear. And I immediately reached out and said, Christy, we need you on our More Momentum call. Our community, which is you, needs to hear this, and we want you part of this. We want you engaged. So do me a favor. Let's see if your clickers work and make sure you're actually paying attention. Let's see some reactions about being here. There's one. There we go. Come on. No, really? Come on. Just want to get you guys engaged, because it makes it a better experience. And there, look at that. Now we're talking. And we want you involved in the chat. Remember, this call is not for Gino and I. This is for you. I know Christy. I know her story. I have 4 pages of notes from her. By the way, you didn't know I was taking notes. Huh? Yes. It was a great story and really good stuff. And so what we're going to share today, and we again want you engaged to ask questions and find out more about Christy's story, but also her success story, because we're talking right now in the industry, just to make you feel better. A lot of us were doing, double-digit loans. A lot of our team was doing 20+ loans, and now those same people are struggling to get 3 to 4 a month. And, and now as we're leaning in and figuring out the market and re-engaging and taking strategies you learned from this call, we got people now that are hitting 8 and double digits and 5 and 6 and 8 million again. Christy had to do the same. And this is a girl that was doing 400+ loans a year. She was doing 100 million in Louisiana. Is it Louisiana?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Baton Rouge, right?
Baton Rouge, yeah, right.
Yeah. So we're talking like 180,000 loan amounts, something like that.
Yes. One loan size right now is, I think, 189.
Okay, 189. That's a HELOC here in California.
That's a yes, that's a HELOC for you. That's correct.
So Christy, you're an open book, as I saw, and that's why we want you to engage, because Christy shares everything. Trust me, I'm like, well, I know a lot about Christy already, but you're perfect for our Momentum Builder community, because being humbled like you have, as Gino has, we know that we need to learn, grow, expand, share, and learn from others right now. And you're one of the professionals that have figured out how to change the game, and you've had to change the game and go back to some basics and do some of the unique stuff that I love you to share too, because a lot of you out there don't do what Christy does. And it's
Sure.
become very successful. And you're back up to closing. And you weren't even humble enough to call me and say, I don't do 20 every month, but I'm back to 20 a month.
Yes.
So humble.
Yes.
You're like, personally called me like, I don't want you putting that there. And like, I'm, this holier than thou, but I am back up to 20 a month. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. So I think it's important that, I did call Don. I think that was late Monday night. And I was like, and guys, it's 105 degrees in Louisiana today. So it is sweltering if you see me sweating in here. But so I called Don Monday night because I think it is so important. I know that I've been to conferences and been on podcasts, and people get on there and share their numbers, right? And then you sit at home and you feel like, well, how can I do that? And I think what I'm going to share with you today is that I don't do anything that costs a lot of money. Everything that I do is about relationships and personal touches. And we're going to help you to get back to the basics without spending tons of money. And I think it's important that you know that even if you're doing 2 or 3 loans a month, this is the time, Gino and I were talking before we got in, to sow, right? So if you sit back, Don and Gino, and say, oh, the market is horrible, and worry about the market, that's what's going to be your reality. But for me, what I did is I knew the old saying, don't worry about what you can't control. I can't control inventory. I can't control interest rates, and I cannot control the overall market. But what I found that I did that I can control is my touches with people. So I don't worry about production or volume or units. I look every day and I track, and we bring up Gold Cloud, and there's some great tools, but that's my favorite. And I track credit pulls that I pull. I've tracked how many face-to-face with agents, how many thank you cards handwritten do I send. I know all of my numbers. Right now, I'm averaging about 38 credit pulls a week. So I have clients, but I don't have inventory. So if I don't nurture those clients when inventory is low, I am giving up future money. So instead of worrying about spending all this money or doing all these big things or buying this technology, I really dove deep into my sphere and started doing that, Don. So that's kind of why I called you on Monday night, because it has been hard for me as well. I did 100 million year before last, and I want to say that was only 6 refinances, though it was 537 loans, and it was all purchases. And that's all my personal business. I don't have a team bringing in loans, but the struggle's real for everybody, right? But we all have to be committed to changing, because you always say, I'm doing everything, but you're not. Everybody can do more. And if it's not working, you need to shift it. So Don, I'll turn it back over to you.
Actually, Christy, I'm going to jump in. Don's going to reboot his computer right now, see if
Sure.
he can fix his internet problem. But
Sure.
and then
I'll be
actually
right
I'll get a
back.
chance to speak. Usually it's me that's running with stuff and not giving him a chance to speak. He's excited.
I am.
Yeah. So,
I'll be
but
back.
the one thing I wanted to talk about was you just hit on something that Don and I, it's been one of the keys to our success. And the first time somebody ever asked me this was probably in 2005, 2006, when I was doing really well back then. And someone said, well, how many loans are you going to do this month? I said, I don't know. So what kind of volume you're going to do this month? I said, I don't know. And it says, how much money are you going to make this year? I said, I don't know. And they said, I thought you're supposed to know your numbers. I said, well, the truth of the matter is I know that if I do all the right things, the money, the volume, the numbers will come. It's really more about the activities than it is about the goals. The reason you need the goals is so you could build a business plan on what activities are necessary to hit those goals. But the reality is it's the activities that create the results. And so we always focus on that. And even for Don and I, because we are positive mindset people, we wake up in a great mood every day and just having fun and high energy. We meet at the gym at 5:30 in the morning and we're like, okay, let's go kill it today. Well, let's go kill it today to us means to do all the activities we know we should do. And I'm going to ask you one question here, because this is the difference between, you just mentioned, everybody says, I'm doing everything, but I'm not getting the results. Well, then you're doing the wrong things. So discipline is doing the things you don't want to do, but you know you should do, versus activity or work ethic is spending 14 hours a day doing stuff.
Yeah.
How do you plan your day to make sure that you said something earlier when we were talking is non-negotiables?
Yeah.
How does
So
your
I'm
day look like on your calendar so that you can hit those?
So I realized a long time ago that there's two things. There's goals and then there's vision, right? And they're two separate things. You notice at the end of the year, everybody sets their big goal and you pull that Planet Fitness, and in January, the cars are packed. And then by March, nobody's there. Because what I learned, thank goodness I'm almost 50 years old and it took me a long time to learn it, but I learned that goals without vision will never happen. So what I do is I don't only have goals, my vision is my process for getting there. So I had to, when we talked to go back to the basics, I had to literally strip everything down because I knew that I was doing a lot and I was tired when I got home, but I knew that the activities were not bringing the business that I should be getting for what I felt like the work I was putting in, right? So I really went back and I stripped down all the processes and I said, okay, these are your goals, but let's not worry about your goals. How are you going to get there? What is going to be your vision and your vehicle to get there? So those are my non-negotiables. So I'm gonna real quick, Gino, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go over my non-negotiables for the day. This
Awesome.
happens every single day, and you guys can write it down. I'm going to email Don and Gino and they can make it on their format. Something I created years ago, my Monday through Friday schedules and calls, super simple. I'll send that to you guys and y'all can brand it and use it as you would like. But I'm going to go over with you what I do that is a non-negotiable. So first thing is the miracle morning, every day, 7 days a week. Hello, Rod. I met him in 2014, a dear friend of mine. And really quickly, Gino, I know we have a short call, but what you guys don't know about me, and I share everything because I am healed and I no longer hold that and I'm authentic, but I was a drug addict in my 20s. My baby, Claire's now 24 and on my team, and I was a unwed mother on welfare and I had to raise that baby. And I met my husband when she was 1, we got married. But for years I held, the lifestyle of a drug addict it's trauma, right? And these were my bad choices, but they haunted me for years. And I got into mortgages in 2011. So I've only been in a short time. In my first year, I did 157 units for 20 something million. And that was because I didn't have a choice. I had kids to raise. I didn't know better. I didn't really know what to do. But I still never felt I made a lot of money, right? I went from 60,000 working at a bank behind a desk to, you guys can do the math, right? A lot of money. And money, I thought that would fix it, and it didn't fix it. And I was miserable. I was not being the mom I should. I was not being the wife I should. Almost lost my marriage. And again, I'm open book, but I think it's important that your past does not need to define your future, right? And so no matter where you are, whether you're doing no units or 20 units a month, it is your choice. A choice to change is instant. It's decisions and processes and visions that you put in place after. So I wanted to say that to say, as I come on here to talk to you today, I don't ever want to be fake or phony or braggy, because humble, hungry, and smart, right? And I know the mistakes I've made and I won't make them again. And I also want you to know where I come from. I was not handed anything. I don't have a team bringing in stuff. I pay for no lead systems. This is all personal building of business. So going back to that, I just wanted you guys to know the backstory. So also I have a blood disorder. So 7 strokes in 18 years, I've had 7 strokes. I no longer drive. I have to be driven everywhere. I'm blind in this eye, and I still do loans. So I'm saying that to say, when I give you this list, there are no excuses for any of you. Because if I can do it blind in one eye with 7 strokes and all the things I've been through, you can too. So let me give you my non-negotiables. Hal Rod's Miracle Morning. And if anybody, and Don, Gino, if anybody needs my information, please share it. I teach this to agents. I no longer do lunch and learns where I just talk about mortgages. I teach agents, they're now my friends, to build the life of their dreams. So the Miracle Morning, I meet with agents every other week and we have coffee and go through it, but I do it 7 days a week. It's just taking time for yourself in the morning before the chaos starts, right? And then I'm focused. So on Sunday nights, I write down if I am doing these calls that I'm about to go with you Monday through Thursday, I already get the list on the weekend of who I'm going to call, so there's no excuses. Because if I have the names, I am more likely to call. If I just say I'm going to call past clients, so I'm going to tell you not only what I do, but how I do it in a really quick manner, and I will send this to the guys to send out to you. So on Monday mornings, no agents want to be cold call on Monday mornings. So I keep a list, and I know Don and them, you may have a different list, and I think it's just good to share what everybody does. But I keep a list of anyone that I sent a pre-approval letter for Thursday through the weekend, or anybody that was writing an offer. And Monday morning, I call the buyers and the agents just to check in and see how that went. That's because that is a chance for me to speak with everybody without having to make a cold call, right? I have an excuse to call. So that's Mondays, following up with anybody that was writing an offer or potential contract. On Tuesdays, I am calling everyone that is in processing. So let me tell you how this works. Let me give you a little hint. So some of you out there may have 2 loans, okay? And you say, well, I have 2 clients to call on Tuesday. No, you don't. You have a lot more. Let me tell you who you have to call. You have the clients to call with an update. You have the buyer's agent to personally call and let them know. You have the seller's agent to give them a call and let them know. Then if you don't have a lot of loans, do you know that your title companies are a great referral source for you? So I call the title company involved in the transaction and just kind of check in with them and let them know what's going on. Then I also reach out to the insurance agent that's doing the business for the client, because they may have clients that want to refinance. So I am finding everyone involved in the transaction on Tuesday to reach out. If it is a back-to-back transaction where there are other lenders and agents involved, I am also calling them. I am calling the agents. The reason I'm doing that is a captive audience, guys. And you notice I didn't say I'm emailing the agents or I'm texting the agents. Here is the deal. Get off your butts and make the phone call. Sorry, guys. I love y'all. I'm very nice from the South. But I had to tell myself that, right? I was using technology. And Andy Andrews, who I love, he's a mentor of mine. He says, play the game like nobody knows you're playing it, Christy. And so I realized that nobody's calling, or they're calling every week and bothering them for business. When I have them in the transaction, if I am not capitalizing on them, I am giving up future funds and money for my family. And that's the truth. On a Wednesday, and I'll answer any questions in the chat too, because I love when they ask if I do it myself. Okay. Then on Wednesday, I am calling past clients. So let me give you a trick. I was the world's worst until this year following up with past clients. You notice that I said in 2021, I did 500 and something units and probably 6 or 7 refinances. I sucked at past clients. Do not let me make you think that I've ever been good at that. I have not. So it was really hard for me to know when to call them, because if I hadn't talked to them in 2 years, I was embarrassed. So what I started doing is our CRM, and you guys, I'm sure, can get this information with your companies, is I pull the birthdays and I pull them by month. So I have the birthdays for everybody that has a birthday in August, and I divide it by 4 weeks. And I take those names and I actually put them on my calendar. Now, it may be 15 one week, it may be 10 the next, it may be 25, but everybody gets a call from me. It doesn't have to be on their birthday. I just say, hey, this is Christy. I just noticed that this is your birthday month. And I just wanted to tell you, I know it's been a while, but I was thinking about you and your family and I hope you're doing well. But guys, let me tell you, if you take the sales out of it and build the relationships, the sales will come. And my business is 100% proof of that. So Wednesdays are past client calls. Thursdays are pre-approval calls. And let me tell you guys this, If you are not reaching out to your pre-approved buyers, you are going to lose them. You're going to lose them. So everybody says, well, do you call everybody every week? The answer is no, right? If I talked to somebody, a pre-approved buyer last Thursday, and they told me, hey, we're putting it on pause, we're going on vacation. So I let them know when I hang up, hey, Gino, that sounds great. Look, I'm going to give you a call the week of August 28th and just check in. Is that okay? So I am then, the thing about this, if you're, when you have a business, and you all, no matter who the CEO of your company is, you are the CEO of your business. Whether you're a loan officer of one or a team of 20, you are the CEO of your business. So you have to figure out what works for you. But for me, I'm easy. I use Google Sheets. I keep all my notes on there. It's very secure. Some people use a CRM. I told you I'm almost 50. I like it easy. I have it on my phone, so I can always see. I have no personal information it's just notes for me to know when we're going to call them next. I also, my team can sign on to the sheets anytime and see that as well. So Thursdays are pre-approved buyers. I am also on Thursdays letting the agents know I spoke to the buyer and what the buyer's saying. Because a lot of you are checking in with either the agents or the buyers, but not both. Do you know how valuable it is to do those Thursday calls? I have saved clients from dropping one of my agents that referred them because they'll say, hey, well, I was kind of talking to another agent. I'm getting in front of that. I'm finding out information that will help me build a connection with them so that I don't lose them, right? And then I'm able to show the agents that I am following up and keeping up with their client. So then on Friday, I call it Freedom Friday. I schedule nothing. I schedule no calls. I have no things that have to be done on Friday. If Friday is the day that I leave for anything that I need to fix for the week or anything I need to get ready for the weekend, and it just kind of lets me, if somebody calls and needs to meet, it helps me to do that. So someone's going to ask about the time I do this. Let me tell you this. If you put a time on your calendar and you make yourself think you have to do it that same time every day, you will never do it. I don't like time blocking. I like time management. So what I do is on Sunday nights, I look at my calendar and I look at all the meetings I have. And I go in and I take that little sheet that I'm going to send to you guys. And I say, okay, on Monday, I'm going to call these, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I look at my calendar, and based on my calendar, I put it at a certain time. It is a different time every week. It might be in the morning. I might call 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon. But Sundays or Saturdays or whatever works for you, you have to plan. If you're taking a trip to visit Don in California, you're not going to get in the car and drive. You're going to know your stops. You're going to get your Waze or your GPS. So we just wake up and expect to do this job. If you don't take time in the morning and then know who you're going to call during the week. And I will tell you this, guys, when I started making those calls 4 years ago, I started doing this 4 years ago. It transformed my business. I don't have to worry about agents hearing from me because they are. Now, do I cold call? Of course. And I know that Momentum Builders is great for helping you guys with who to call, but these are just the non-negotiables that I do every day. And let me tell you this also, I am done every night by 5:30, 6 o'clock. If my agents know, I meet with everybody up front before they refer me a client or their first client that they refer. That's another big thing for me. And sorry, guys, I'm moving fast trying to get through everything. But I meet up front with all agents and say, look, this is how we do it. I want to know what you think about this because, hey, if you don't like it, there's plenty of other lenders. And listen, you have to tell people how to refer you, and you have to tell people your systems. Stop trying to work with everybody. Everybody's not meant for you. When I realized that I needed to fire in a loving manner agents that were abusing and using me and build my sphere with agents that I could trust and we could have hard conversations and really help clients, it changed my business. So now to work with me, and this is a true story, my team will tell you, you can send one lead and we'll call them, but you have to hurry and get on a Zoom or face to face with me so that I can tell you about our business, our turn times, how we work, who's on the team. But I can also let you know my office hours and when I work and when I'm with my family. So I do not take pre-approvals after 3 p.m. They can apply, but it'll be next day that they know an answer because I'm looking at everything and that doesn't give me enough time. If it is a call after 6 o'clock, it needs to be a transfer file, an urgent thing about a upcoming closing, or a pre-approval letter. And some of you are saying, well, that's easy for her to do that because she has a lot of business. I started doing that in 2012. I went to something with Todd Duncan at Mastery, and they said you have to start letting people know how to refer you and what your boundaries are in a loving way, because if you tell them up front. So I told my agents, listen, I have 3 kids. I will do pre-approvals on the weekend, but it needs to be the right situation. So guys, I'm available 7 days a week, but I'm not really working 7 days a week because they know on the weekend what I want them to send me and what can wait till Monday. So a lot of you are going home stressed out and working the weekends and taking time from your babies. And I did that too. And I almost lost my marriage because of it, because you're not valuing your time. If you don't value it, others definitely won't. So sorry, guys. I know that's a long rant. Sorry.
Good. And you touched on so many things. One of
Sorry.
no, it's okay, but I want to not forget some of these things. So Todd Duncan at Momentum Builder, one of the things he reminded everybody is when you have a new agent, do you have an onboarding plan for them? And that's part of that onboarding plan. And one of the things that I was helping people with, because I had to do it myself as well, is your value proposition that you're available all the time? If it is, that's fine. But if your value proposition is anything other than that, I'd rather be worth waiting for. So if you're the top neurosurgeon in somewhere in the world and somebody's got a neurological problem, you get an appointment 3 months out and you're glad you just got an appointment. I want to be valued that much that I can dictate when I'm going to speak to people. Because being available kind of means you're just not really that important.
It's when I see on Facebook, I work 24/7. I just pray for them and I'm say bless their heart because, you know, that's a South thing. But honestly, let me just say this. The reason people are working that much is they don't have that vision, right? They don't have that plan in place of how to meet those goals. And they also don't know how to tell people to refer them. And they think, you know, my phone is in another room and I'm on a call. You know why? My focus is on and it says what I'm doing and it tells what time. My voicemail, Gino, if you called it today, it will say, thank you for calling. Your time is valuable. Your call is valuable. Only voicemail messages left will be returned. I'm returning calls today from 11 to 12, again between 4 and 5. It is urgent. Text me. Like I am letting them know every moment of the day. Because let me tell you this. People have a different perception. So if I ask me, Gino and Don, and I won't do it for time's sake, how long is a good enough for somebody to call you back? Somebody may say 24 hours. Me, I'm thinking they don't call me back in 15 minutes. I'm wondering what's wrong, right? So if you don't give people the times and how to use you or when you're going to call back, you're leaving it up to their perception. Then they're perceiving your business in a way that might not be true of your business. So me, if I say I'm calling back from 11 to 12 and I call back at 10:30, they're excited, right? So everything has a system, everything has a place, but it doesn't cost me any money. It's just setting my Outlook calendar, setting my focus on my cell phone. You know, I have everything. And again, I said, we're a team of 4, that's processing and everything, right? And I don't look like a crazy woman. I mean, you can do it in the right way, but it all starts with you. Don't let other people run your business. It's like a fine dining restaurant, right?
Well, I love that I had to go join Gino in his office. My internet evidently is kaput today. So you got both of us right here. But I love 2 things, and we have quite a few of the influencers and the top people say the same thing. We learn a lot from Renee Rodriguez, as you hear from, is control the narrative. And I love you control the narrative, otherwise they will set up their own expectations. And I love that you control that. And what you're doing is that by control that narrative is you're letting them know that you're organized. When somebody says, I'm available all the time, how is that possible? That means you're not busy then.
Well, that means they're
You're firefighters, right?
Yeah, I mean, I even go as far as, and guys, what I did, and let me tell you, I have a course called Lending 101. I took a Word document, and I know I'm telling simple, but I want everybody to leave this call and be able to do the things that they like that I do. So I take a Word doc, I put all the loan programs that we have and kind of how much seller concession, like the things you would want agents to know. I go over that with them. I have my team process written out. I go over that with them. I have a sheet that says how to refer us, who's on the team, what do they do, right? I go over that with them. I also show them my Google Sheets. I keep up with all credit repair. Everyone that needs credit help, they get a handwritten note from me. I show them how we do that. So even if your clients don't qualify, we're nurturing them. If you build a relationship, you will build loyal realtors. A lot of you struggle with realtors using you and someone else. What I decided to do, and real quick, is I have parties at my home. I realized that it was financially not responsible of me to take everybody to lunch all the time. And I have 500 and something agents that I market to all the time, and I can't go meet all of them. So I have parties in my house. Our last party was a Taco Tuesday. On a Tuesday, I rented a taco truck, super inexpensive. I had it in my front yard. I had 135 agents at my home, and I always have 100 plus. And we don't talk about mortgages. I invite title companies. I even invite other lenders because, see, I don't compete. A flower just grows. And when you learn to build relationships and not just business relationships, you have built relationships of loyalty and trust, and you care about them and you know about them, your business will transform. And you don't need a system to do that. You just need a phone and you and your heart, and be authentic.
Nobody more authentic than you, girl. And that's why I wanted to bring you on. I mean, isn't it nice? Yeah, send out some love. I want to see the reactions because this is good stuff. She's pouring her soul out and just telling you, well, this is what I do. And now I dare anybody to put in the chat that you can't do this. Seriously.
Wow, look at the reaction flooded now.
I know.
Can we answer some of the questions in the chat?
You're like, this is real, which is really nice.
I like what Troy's asking here, right? Because he's been doing a great job, absolutely crushing it. Sometimes the workflow does come all at once when your business grows. How do you manage those times where so much new business is coming in that you don't have the teammates yet, you don't have the systems and processes in place? When you go from 200 loans a year to 500 loans a year, how did you scale that?
So I think that's a great question. I'm going to be fully transparent as always. As my team grew, now I only have 4, but it was hairy there when we had, right now, we've pulled 50 something credit bureaus for, the week, I think for, a 7-day period. It's been heck around here. But what we do is if you have people, as your business grows, you split it up. Right? That's what we do. So Troy, the truth is that sometimes I've had 300 and something pre-approved buyers. No, we're not calling them every Thursday. So what we do, and on those sheets that I'm going to send on, I break it down to A, B, and C. Right? I know the time frame they're going to buy, 0 to 3 months, and I have the 6 months, and then I have the waiters. And so there's a different call schedule for each of those, super easy. But here's the deal. Sometimes if it's agents that I know very well and clients that I know very well, I text them. I still count that as a call, right? And I'll text, or a lot of times, let me tell you what I do. Here's my little secret. Y'all don't tell. I do a video and I say, hey, happy Tuesday. It's Christy. Just want to check in and let you know everything's great on your file. If you need anything or have any questions, give me a call. I take that video, guys, on my iPhone, at the subject line. I put the property address and I just send the video out, and it looks like it's going just to them, but I make sure that it's coming as a text or a phone call, because I just feel like everybody emails updates. We're wanting to be able to ask for business or ask how they can help, and you're wanting to show them that you're different. You're not just concerned about when we get the contract or CTC. I'm checking on you to make sure if there's anything we can do better or help you with, right?
Thinking too that you probably find out a lot of things before they happen, so that you don't have to be as reactive, because you could send out that, hey, it's Tuesday, loans approved.
Yes.
We're getting ready for docs.
Yeah.
And you could ask in that same video, do you have anything that you perceive might change between now and closing? And they might,
100.
no, we're gonna do a seller credit because we found that the water heater was busted. And then you're not
100.
or after docs, you're doing it preemptively.
Well, my spouse lost their job and we're gonna have to put
Yes.
them on hold or whatever.
We had this happen on a Thursday call a few weeks ago. He was like, hey, I'm about to change jobs. It's going to be 1099. I've been W-2 for 10 years. If I had not spoken to him, because his agent told him it was going to be okay, it's not her fault, right? Let's be honest, right? That's not, of course, they should have been referred to me, but if I had not made that call, we would have got a contract and we would have had a problem. Also, let me just say this to you guys. The 1003 is key. The 1003 is key. Some of you want to, and I use Flowify and all that, and I get that, but I call every single buyer, and listen, and I mean this, because think about it, even though I'm pulling 30 or 40 apps a week, not everybody's sitting in all their docs, and I don't review it until all the documents are in. I do not let agents determine my time frame. That's why we meet up front, because this is my business. You control yours, I control mine. So nobody is going to push me to do that. But I am constantly, sorry, stroke brain, train of thought, and I apologize. Sometimes that happens, lost thought there. But I just think it's so important to know your business and know your rules. And Gino, if you'll help me on what we were speaking about, guys, when you've had 7 strokes, and one as recent as last September, sometimes you'll have a moment where you forget what you're speaking about. I'm sorry.
A reason for it. We just do that.
Well, it's been lately, I'm just kind of I forget to warn everybody, but hey, again, but I just,
3 is key.
Yeah, the 1003, how important the 1003 is in talking to the.
Yeah, so the 1003, and I apologize, but again, so the 1003 is my time to ask those questions, right? So if I see that they're from a part where I was raised, and I'll say, I went to school there, and my parents grew up there, or if they work for I had one the other day that worked for a dog shelter. Well, my youngest daughter loves animals, and I think she's going to rescue animals one day. So I talked to the client about that. So everybody gets a handwritten note from us. Now we use a system, and it does it where it looks handwritten. It costs $1 something, and I'm not on here to sell a product. That's not who I am. So I'll let you guys find that, but it's $1.38, and it looks everybody gets a card from us, right? But in that card, I'm putting I'm sorry about the passing of your dog, or, it was great to connect with you, and I'm so great to learn you went to Park Ridge Elementary. If you will do that stuff at pre-approval, you will not get shoppers, guys. I am telling you, you will get a few, but when you build that relationship and they know that you are more to them than just a loan officer, you care about them and their families, it's huge. So dive deeper in the 1003 and ask the questions. And loan officers, you should be doing that yourself. That's just my opinion. And that's on the ones that apply. Scores are good. You're going to go over everything before you review. I know everything before I review it. So the 1003 can be your window into future touches with them, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that sounds like to me is that you are operating in your highest and best use, which is communications. Really communicating with everybody involved in your business. That means your team is really taking care of everything that's grunt work. And I know as you're building a team, if it's just you and one person, it's hard. You got to wear a lot of hats. But as you're able to scale and grow, I think that's the beauty of it. That's why people that reach a certain level of success or reach the next level easier. I think it's Warren Buffett or somebody says, the first million is hard. Every other million is inevitable. And that's for the same reason. You have to reach critical mass, because now it sounds like to me, like your job is doing the stuff we love. Calling people, talking to people, finding out what makes them tick, and letting them know you care. And if you do those things, success is inevitable.
Yeah, and what I did, and to go back to Troy's question, I just trained everybody, right? So everybody that came on the team knows how to do everything. I know how to do everything. And I always say I would scrub a toilet to close a loan. You have to be humble, hungry, and smart. You are not a leader if you don't walk beside your team. I'm not a boss, I'm a leader. So I lead by example. And you know what? Hannah went on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and it was 3 of us. and I was the only licensed loan officer. And yes, I worked till 2 or 3 in the morning. And yes, I did 13 or 14 pre-approvals. Guess why? I still make sure I know how, right? And I'm still going in, and even as we train call them our babies, growing them up to learn what we do, I am still making sure I read guidelines every single day, 7 days a week, 30 minutes to an hour. I do it at night before I go to bed. A mentor of mine told me years ago, the more you learn, the more you earn. And I wanted to earn a lot for my family. So I do that. So I read guidelines every day, and I'm always learning new things. But the biggest thing for me, and I know we have to wrap up and I'll let any other questions be asked, but I stopped focusing on the mortgages, right? I'm not asking agents for business because every other lender is asking them for business. I am doing things like holding end of the year planning sessions. I do something like I have speakers come in usually pretty often, and it's local people that I know. I had a doctor come in about stress and how to handle stress. I bring things, and if you go look at my social media, you won't see a lot about, how the economy is and the mortgage rate. You'll see us having fun. We'd have things at my house. We build a relationship. We are the mortgage expert, and we want them to know that. But everybody's stressed. We are teaching them the miracle morning. We are teaching them about how it is important to read and earn and learn and get your mind right and your marriages right and your children, the relationships right. Because if your home's not right, your business is right. And I'm going to say this to some of you. I'm looking at the camera. Some of you are struggling right now financially. And let me tell you, I've only been in the business since 2011. I made a lot of mistakes when I started making money, as we all do, because I thought money mattered. I'm going to say this to you. Money matters to pay our bills, but this job, we can make a difference in families' life if we get our mind and our heart right. And when you stop focusing on the money and you start focusing on the people, and you lead with love, and you're authentic, and you're not afraid of what people think about you, you will grow far beyond your expectations. What you don't know about me, and Don doesn't know about me, 5 years ago, I was suicidal. I would have never told you any of those things about me, about being a drug addict. I wanted you to see on Facebook what I wanted you to see, because I thought that people's opinion of me mattered. And then I almost, like I said, lost my marriage and nearly my life, and had another bad stroke. And I was 265 pounds. I weigh 121 today, and I was eating my feelings. I was getting these awards, and when I would go in the hotel room, I'll never forget, I was on the stage of a national conference getting an award, and when I went in the hotel room, I prayed God would take my life that night. And I don't say that for sympathy. I need you all to know that people that do a lot of business are still human, just like celebrities committing suicide and all that. And look, I'm not going in a dark place. I want to bring you the light. When I stopped focusing on what was wrong and started focusing on what I could do in the future, and I couldn't control the past, and I needed to focus on getting my foundation, right? Building my, God tells us, build a foundation on the rock. No matter your faith, that's what I believe. And so I started doing that, and it's crazy how my business changed. So I just want to share that if you're struggling, you can make changes today in who you're calling, the activities you're doing. If you're not getting out, get out. I passed out 3,000 business cards in my first 90 days of business in 2011 because I didn't know realtors. I went to Walmart. If I gave them money, they got a business card. I set up a little thing at the mall, just me outside, and gave out cards and talked about mortgages because I didn't know lenders didn't do that. But everybody I got in touch with, so everybody I know knows what I'm doing. So I just want to give you all that encouragement. Look, I'm struggling too. It's been hard. There's days where I doubt that I even want to do this. But I tell you what, I got a renewed spirit when I changed my mind and realized what worked for me the last couple of years didn't. And getting back in the business was actually what saved my business. So that's my little, I'll get off the pulpit now, guys. Sorry.
Can I drop this?
Yeah.
Mic drop.
My job. There we go. No, just kidding.
Is you're okay. And you know, someone, who is it? Michelle just put, you know, walking testimony. The difference is we read the books or hear the stories or the motivational stuff, and it can motivate you or demotivate you because you're like, I can't do all that. But
Yes.
you just.
Well, it's like Josh said, it just
regroup.
feels like a slacker down.
Yeah, you regroup,
Well,
but you're.
yeah, look, I'm like, I don't drive, Josh. I'm giving you all the pity. No, I'm just kidding. I don't ever want pity. Sorry, Don, keep going.
But what's nice is you're a walking testimony. I mean, you've learned to walk the walk and you had to do it in steps. So I you have built a team up. So, a lot of people go, we hear it a lot because we're on these calls every week. And a lot of you out there are like, well, I don't have a team, or I don't know how to get to that. I don't have the scalability, whatever. I will challenge you because I know, we run a decent region of really top professionals. We only work with the best. And yes, a lot of them are on this call. Love you guys and girls. But you look and go, wow, she does all this and I don't have a team to do that. I'm sorry, you have 3 to 5 new leads, maybe a week to follow up on right now until you get to 20. At 20, we'll get you a team. Your manager will get your team or you'll get a team and train them like you have done. But I'll challenge you to do this stuff for your 3 to 4 loans you're doing and call the listing. I guarantee, I know even our team probably doesn't do this and should. And I think it's brilliant because you're like, just do these things. So if our team and your team or any of you out there did these steps, the Monday through Thursday steps, it's not hard, you will get more business.
Listen, those listing agents, I'm just going to say this because we're all family now because I tell all my business, but those listing agents, they're going to take your call. You're holding their money. You have a captive audience for agents that you've never got an audience with before, and you're not using it. I wasn't either. And I think it's so important that people understand, like I told y'all my numbers my first year, I did not have an assistant until I did 12 loans a month. And let me tell you, 12 loans a month, that's a lot. That's a lot of work. And remember, I was never in mortgages before. I did cattle loans at a bank an hour from my house. We loan people on cars and livestock for farms. And so I didn't know how to spell FHA when I got in the business. So I did 6 loans my first month from just family. And I didn't have an assistant. So I am telling y'all, you can do it. The fact is, you are letting fear hold you back. And see, I didn't have a choice. I had 3 babies, so it was sink or swim for me, and I didn't have a choice. Now, I will say this, looking back, I would be so scared to start over because as we get 11 and 12 years in, you remember it is hard. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. It's not. But is it doable? 100%. Listen, the reason I don't mind sharing my tricks and trades is because a lot of people aren't going to do it, right? Everybody's always like, listen, y'all are going to laugh at this. I have other lender friends that I go teach their loan officers in their office. They're 2-3 miles from my office. Guess why? I don't compete with anybody else. I compete with what I did last year. A flower grows, it doesn't look at other flowers. And I think we got to stay off social, start looking at everybody else, get your house straight, and your business is going to grow. And that's what I did. I got my house straight, super simple. I know how I'm going to train agents. I know how they're going to communicate with me. If somebody's out of line, we pick up the phone and we have a conversation. The last thing I don't do is I don't give a pre-approval because somebody pushes me. If it takes 2 weeks because I'm waiting on a VOE because they had 18 employers, it's going to take 2 weeks. If another lender will give you the letter in 5 minutes, here's your file. Have a great day. Do not give up your worth for other people. You will pay for it in the long run. They will run over you. Know who you are at 1 or 2 loans, and it will not change. And let me tell you something. I am so proud that we're finally back maybe at 20. Now, I did have 2 today that are kind of wobbly. So let me not lie. It might be 18. But let me say this. I do 20, 30, and 40 loans. My highest was 59 in 1 month. And I do those better than I do 2 or 3. I am telling you, if you can get your stuff, and guys, please, and I'm going to ask Don and Gino, any resources you need from me, I'm an open book. I will always help. And lastly, I share a lot about me because it is my vehicle for healing. So everybody else is not meant to share their trauma and their stories, and that's okay. So just know your purpose, and then you'll change your business. If your purpose is money, you will never change your business. So get right today on what's your purpose, your goals, but then put your vision in place.
Totally love this, Christy. I mean, what a great session. We had a ton of attendees today, which is super exciting. And like we talked before, I knew people would want to hear from somebody that's doing it. And Don, you alluded to this, like we hear from the Barrys and the Todds and the people that are, you know, on the other side of the saying, do this, do this, do that. Well, it's hard. And sometimes you're like, you know what? You're not doing it. You're not living my life. So how can I, yeah, it's easy for you to say, but Christy, you're living it. You're doing it. And so,
yeah, and listen, you know, I mean, like I said, there's so many things that I suck at. Okay. There is, and that's why I always get so mad, like at conferences and podcasts, because everybody's like, oh, I do this and this. Yeah, everybody sucks at something, right? Okay, so there's things we all can improve on. But at the end of the day, we as loan officers go to a seminar or go to a call like this, and we want to do everything. You're never going to execute everything. I pick the top 3 things in my life that I need to fix right now. Those 3 things. And when I get rid of one, if it's past clients, when I fix that, I add another one under that one, and the other 2 might still be there. I'm never trying to fix everything at one time. New processes and changes are about consistency. And the Bible tells us, you know, the 28 and 52 days to, you know, to do a habit, right? How many days the wall was built. Takes a long time for a habit to get in place. So I don't put pressure on myself to do something I wasn't doing yesterday, do 10 things, just change one thing at a time, make it a habit, right? You can change your voicemail right now today. Tell people that you're only returning voicemail messages left, and they can text you for urgent. Give them the times you're going to call. And a lot of times I change that on Monday and just make sure my schedule reflects, right? Or sometimes I'll say today's the day. You can do that one thing. Next thing you can do is figure out how you're going to do who you're going to call during the week. And I'm going to send that over. That's number 2. Break it down, even from what you've heard from me today, what you want to do. Stop trying to change everything at one time. Just figure out your pain points and seek wise counsel. Listen, none of us are reinventing the wheel. The things I'm telling you, I've heard from Sales Mastery. I've heard from other coaching programs, great programs like this. It's not reinventing the wheel. Somebody's done what I've done before. Now, I don't know about the parties at the house, but I love that. But I'm just saying it's okay to swipe and adapt, but be authentic. I'm not one, I never wear makeup. My hair's, I either usually wear a wig or I look like this. I'm a hippie. Doesn't matter. It's who I am, right? I'm authentic. Be who you are, project it and show it. They will believe it and they will follow it. If you try, I'm never going to get on there, Don and Gino, and talk about how the market is changing and what I think the economists are saying, because half the time I don't understand it, right? But I know people and I know mortgages. So I'm going to talk about fun things and what we're doing. And, you know, I choose what I know and I amplify it 100 times. So you can check out my social media and see some fun things we do, but it's always about being authentic. Now, the last 2 weeks I've been quiet on social media because I'm making some changes and I realized I had been spending too much time. So last tip, I only get on social media to look at my sphere and post. I set my clock for 30 minutes twice a day to get on social. The reason you are not being productive, you're on social media throughout the day. I look in the morning, I look in the evening after I'm finished having supper with my children and my husband. What I am looking for is I have people grouped, and I know my agents and I know past clients and clients. And if an agent starter won a cheer competition, I keep note cards in my desk, in my kitchen, by my bed. I'm writing a note card and I'm putting it in the mail. If a past client, something happened, I'm writing a card, I'm putting it in the mail. Stop getting on social media. Let me tell you, that's not real. That's what people want you to see. You can use it, but you need to stay off of it constantly. So I get on there twice a day. All my social media is LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I set the clock because I will get drowned in. And when the clock goes off, I'm done. And that's twice a day and that's it. So that's a non-negotiable too. Sorry. I know y'all have, I'm throwing so much at you guys.
No, that was awesome. You covered a ton of stuff and everyone will walk away with one thing they can implement. If it's not 3, it's just one thing they can implement this week and make it an easy one. Because there's also, like, you know, to use the term momentum, sometimes once you get some success, you feel good about that. And you're like, okay, I did it. Now what? And then you can start compounding those habits. For me, one of the most helpful things this year has been the miracle morning. And to have a great morning routine, you have to have a good evening routine. So guess what happens? Now your evening became better. Well, if your evenings are good and your morning is good, then you only got to deal with a few hours in the day that can be complicated. And that just relieves a tremendous amount of stress.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's so important. And when I want to clarify too, and make sure I didn't confuse anybody. When I said the 3 things, I don't mean like from this. What I want them to do is figure out the 3 things that they need to fix first in their life and business, and then take things that they've heard from me or other people that maybe go along with that, right? Because I think y'all have seen the circle in business planning where you have your finances and your relationships and you're always weak on some of those things, or in your business, past clients and things like that. But yeah, I think it's just important to know that you can do it. You can do it. You're the only one holding you back. And if you don't make the changes today, you'll be sitting here a year when the market has shifted and you'll have the same business, because what you plant today may not be sown immediately. But let me tell you, if I had my phone, I could show you hundreds of text messages from agents. I hang up my agents and they tell me they love me and I love them. It's like the weirdest thing ever. There's no agent that's in my sphere that does not say they love me before they hang up the phone. And let me tell you something, if you don't think that's powerful in a market, the competition can't touch that. And that is humble, hungry, and smart. That is building relationships, right?
You're doing 20 deals a month when no one else is right now. Now, we can't thank you enough, Christy, for sharing your story, your passion, your love, your steps. And I know you're going to send us some stuff. We'll make sure we put it on the app. Ensure you download the Momentum Builder app and stay connected every week. And then we got so much exciting stuff ahead, so download the app. Plus, we're starting to open the doors for registrations for Momentum Builder 2024, and you better book now.
I will be there. I am coming. So
it will be packed, and it will sell out because we're limiting it to only the rock stars that want to lean in and invest themselves and be part of the community. So we're only going to have 500 people at the event. It's not 2,000 or anything like that this year. It's 500 that want to lean in and really learn. And so it's going to sell out. I mean, I know like your company, you're like, I'm going to get at least 50 of our company to go, and we're going to do the same. So how long will those tickets last? Probably not very long. And we want those of you that are on a call like this and part of our community to go there, hang out with us, hang out with Christy, and be part of our community. So make sure you sign up as soon as possible. The networking is going to be off the charts. The tools and the information will be just like you heard today, just powerful and implementable. And the networking events are going to be fun as hell. I guarantee that. Nobody's more fun than us. So we're going to have fun. So thank you, Christy, and thank you all of you who are on the call today. We got Jimmy. He's going to bring some great lead management tools. And then
amazing.
Renee Rodriguez coming on. The guys, our myth, our legend, who helps us learn how to communicate better. Life is good. And Christy, you killed it. Thank you.
Well, and listen, I want to add for Momentum Builders, I want to say this. I think when people ask me what was the secret to my success, and one of the biggest things I ever did, and I didn't know it till, a few years ago, but 2011, somebody told me you need to get a coach. And I said, I'm not even licensed yet. My license, I just taken the test, the license hadn't come in. And he said, you need to get a coach. You have to be coached. So I'm going to say this. I know when money gets tight, coaching and stuff is the first thing to go. Let me encourage you. There has never been a moment in my career from day one that I have not been coached, because if you do not coach with people like this that want to grow you, that provide activities for you to be, you are living in a bubble. We live in a bubble. This gets you outside of the bubble. I'm going to tell you, give up the leads, give up the things you're paying for. That crap don't work if you don't work it, and keep the coaching, because let me tell you, this market is about to shift. We all know it. It's a cyclical market, right? It's going to shift. And when it shifts and you're not ready, you're not going to reach your goals that your vision has set forth. So stay in coaching, be authentic, be committed to doing the program, because let me tell you, it works. It works. And I will see you all in Vegas.
Awesome, Christy. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
See you all.